Thanks to our patrons, it's time for the Kimber R7 Mako. Coming up, you'll see absolute first shots through the gun, full mag +1, take it over to the what's for dinner test to see what it eats, try it on the spinner for sights and trigger control, do some practical accuracy, and then give you concluding thoughts of 2 shooters. All that coming up next on GBGuns. Cold shots with the Kimber R7 Mako. If I seem a little peppier, that's because I'm not by myself today. Tia's behind the camera. Anyways, kick on our target camera. We still have the C-Zone target out there at 20-ish yards. Using New Republic, because we're still using that ammunition. 115 grain in our test. This stuff turned out to be a little bit soft, but it's a micro compact with dangling fingers, so I'm not going to complain about that. Using the 13 rounders for this, slide sure dropped easily. On the tabletop, I was impressed with the trigger on this. Let's see, got wonderful sun glare coming at me. That is a crisp trigger. That's crisper than I was expecting, a little lighter than I was expecting as well. Airing slightly left, as I tend to do with small pistols, because I end up squeezing because I can't hold on to the thing. But the recoil impulse was surprisingly comfortable for a micro compact. And I didn't feel like it was trying to squirt out of my hand like a lot of small guns did. I'm pleasantly surprised. Throughout the rest of the video, I'll have to digest more and figure things out, but wow, why is nobody talking about this gun anymore?
It's been a while since I've shot anything that I didn't absolutely love, but I'm hoping to be able to provide some feedback on this. I too have been curious about it since it came out, and then it was recalled. Saw them in pawn shops, but didn't want to take the chance. So yeah. Every bit as poppy as I expected it to be from hearing it while Graham was shooting.
The trigger is excitable, isn't it?
And I am personally getting a lot of nose flip when I push out.
It looks flat from here.
It's not too bad. Not gonna take that one. That was a terrible flinch. And that one flinch sent me off for the day. Yeah, that is not terrible at all. It does have a little bit of flip in the front for me. That's likely my smaller wrists and strength, but overall, not a bad gun.
Did the mag just do the sticky thing on you again?
If I have my palm down there, it does. If I use my index finger, it does not.
Okay.
This was something I explored in the living room the other day. Yes, I touched a gun at home because I've been curious about this all along. So they do stick if there is any resistance from your hand when you're pushing the mag release. Now it is stuck and you have to pull it.
Huh.
But otherwise, no, they fall free.
And another note on the mags, I did notice I couldn't get more than 12 into the 13 round mag. Let Tia have a try. She used a different loading technique that sometimes works on stiffer mags. And to you, Tia?
I couldn't get the last round in. However, I do feel where there is a little bit of play in the springs, so it's likely that that'll wear in over time with, you know, using it. So we'll see at the end.
And with this kit coming with 5 mags, I'm not worried. Full magazine +1, still using that New Republic ammunition. I'm gonna do the 10 rounder for my 1. And 12 in the 13 rounder because I couldn't stuff it all the way. Goes in easy enough though. No fighting there. Probably because, as Tia pointed out, the mag feels like it's got room for 13. Same C-Zone steel. I'm gonna try to go as quickly as I can hope to land shots. See how the gun runs. Somewhat fully stuffed. Came off target as expected. I couldn't see, I don't know if the camera's getting it, but in this humidity and sunlight, it's just a big cloud of smoke and the target goes away after a little bit. But
it stayed impressively flat in your hand. I'm sure that has something to do with your hand size and your ability to maintain grip control. But for as small as that is and as quickly as you were firing, it was minimal nose. Thanks.
I think the Guardian Conference running the little gun probably helped. Also, this heel fits my palm really nicely. Like it's comfy. All right, let's see what it eats. And thanks to our patrons, Ammo Squared supporters, and a couple manufacturers, we've got what's for dinner time. As I roll by these, you'll notice that we vary greatly in projectile weight, size, shape, and case material. We're looking to see what will the gun eat, therefore 3 rounds. We want to see, does it feed from slide lock? Is there enough energy and low enough friction to cycle and feed another round of the same type? And then will it lock open on empty? If you're curious about trying any of these rounds yourself, check out the pinned comment over at gbgunsdepot.com. We will link to where we found this stuff. What's for dinner for the R7 Mako with 5 mags. This will be nice and comfortable. Starting off, lightest is Liberty Civil Defense 50 grain. This is what I've been carrying in my 3¼ inch ultralight, and it is lightweight. It's great. It's plus P. Kimber says plus P is okay in limited amounts. See what it feels like in this gun. Circle number 1. I don't know why I was anxious there.
Make you nervous.
It's definitely spicy in this gun. Recoil wasn't bad, and it cycled, which is what the main test is. Circle 2, this is from Ammo Squared. 1776 lead-free sporting ammunition, 90 grain. I've never seen it anywhere else, but that's kind of the fun with Ammo Squared sometimes. That slide release sure is soft and easy. And this is much softer recoiling. No issues. Circle 3, Hornady's Critical Defense Light. This stuff is 100 grain. It's a little tiny pointy bullet. Actually has more recoil than the other two. Interesting, my groupings are 1 and 2. We noticed in the tabletop that it felt like the lockup wasn't great on the barrel in this. I wonder if that's it, or if it's just me struggling with the small pistol. Circle 4, Blazer aluminum, 115 grain. This is the budget-friendly range stuff. Aluminum and steel have different friction case to case inside the magazine, also going into and out of the chamber. They expand and contract at a different rate than brass as well. That's why some guns choke on it. Circle 4. Punchier. And crouped pretty darn well, if I might say so, as we come to see. And that was the 10-round magazine.
They sounded the most consistent.
Yeah, it was a very predictable impulse. And that stuff did pretty well in our range ammo test. Next up, Wolf 115 grain steel case. This stuff in our range test actually proved to be one of the most powerful 9mm range loads out there. How's it gonna feel in the little gun? Circle 5. Authoritative. Oof, yeah. I don't know if you guys saw the fireball on that one.
Yeah, that stuff's angry.
That was a different load. That was a pretty stark contrast. But so far so good. And next up, Tia will do the next 5.
For Circle 6, we have the Igman 115 grain. These are pretty.
Nice, clean, European-made range ammo.
Those are nice. Those are really nice. I like that. And on Circle 7, we have Hornady's Critical Duty. These are 124 grain full metal jacket.
It's
No,
important.
they're not.
No, they're a hollow point with the flex thing in it. And it's important to note too when you're looking at Critical Duty that they make 124, 135, they make plus P, they make regular. So there's a lot of
How it
variants.
feels when you're shooting changes drastically.
Yes.
That one snuck up on me. These, I would not choose those for this one at all. That is bouncing by low. This is a smaller grip.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was bouncing it right out of my hand. Those were a little scary, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it looked uncomfortable.
Personal defense. Oh, these are Federal Premium 124 grain Hydra Shock. Let me take a breath. Holding my breath, and that's not good.
These are bassier.
They smell good.
Yeah, they do.
I test.
How did it feel? Was it?
I felt it in my shoulders, believe it or not. So I associate that with the energy coming straight back, which means that my grip and everything was great. I consider Federal Action Pistol. These are 150 grain.
And these tend to shoot pretty darn soft. These are the ones that are formulated to meet requirements for competitions, but still be easy to shoot.
That is a quick trigger sometimes.
Yeah, it kind of sneaks up on you. Like it's.
In this mag was sticky.
Huh.
Just to keep a record of what's going on there. For Circle 10, we have the PPU. These are 158 grain. I didn't move, did I?
No.
Okay. Those were nice, but they always are.
So no issues feeding anything, which is pretty nice. And so far, the behavior to me feels pretty soft for a micro compact.
Totally doable.
Next up is the spinner. That is our 6-inch Titan Great Outdoors spinner target that we use for sights and trigger control. We're back here about 13 yards away. We've got 8 rounds of that Igman, or sorry, not the Igman, dang it, the same range ammo we've been using. I forget the name of it, but it's not the most powerful stuff. And this is also a short barrel, so we probably won't get a whole lot of swing, but we use this thing for sights and trigger control because it's a small, difficult target that starts moving. And the more you hit it, the faster it moves, the more important timing a well-placed shot becomes.
Nope.
And that, folks, is exactly what I was talking about. Great example of Tia had lots of great hits, but weak ammo and a short barrel, just not hitting the steel that hard.
And for me, the trigger, knowing that it can be kind of sneaky sometimes, I was a little more hesitant to punch through, even when I was seeing it come towards me, and that would have been a great time to send one forward. The sights, yeah, I don't know if they're working for me, but I did just do 3 days of training with a red dot, so you know. But otherwise, it could have done it with someone that's more accurate than myself.
And maybe a little more energy out of the gun.
Maybe.
We'll see. All right, here's my go with 8 rounds of the same ammunition. Nope.
It's shooting high.
Is it hitting high?
Yeah, there are high marks on it where we did hit it, and everyone was hitting high left, just like on your
on the paper.
For dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to favor right just because I know that I tend to squeeze and on little guns and throw them left. So the sights, after Tia did her part, I gave them some more thought. Plus, that test really makes us focus on them. And I think the problem, at least for me, is that the white dots are so bright that it's detracting a little bit from the front sight focus. I mean, these are night sights, which is great, but they also have color around them. And although the orange definitely grabs your eye, the white is also trying to grab your eye. And so there's a little bit of eyeball discipline that I was failing at there.
I was getting a similar effect. Like the red dot starburst is what it was causing for me.
Yeah, it's your eyes going back and forth. The trigger, the wall is not very defined, but you know it's short travel. And so in trying to time a shot, it kind of inspires you to just punch through and mash through like you would on a roughly done double action, just now-ish. And so I don't think that boded well for my shooting skills on the spinner. Practical accuracy, the time when we collect our final thoughts and maybe semi-objectively, not really, test the accuracy of the gun. Really, the only true accuracy test would be from a bench, but this is more practical. 5 rounds of the New Republic ammo that we've been using. And I'm sorry about the target cam. I had it set up for the left circle square, and Tia's shooting the right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I shot the right numbers, so I assumed I was shooting the right square.
Well, maybe you could scoot the target camera a little bit.
Yeah, let me do that.
Because that's a pretty damn good group.
Whoops, too far. It's okay.
It's pretty good for a small gun. All right, 5 shots from 7 yards. New Republic. I love that slide release. It's very, very smooth.
Ouch.
I'm not going to try to hold my shots. I'm going to let it show the tendencies that are naturally happening for me with this gun.
So I am personally glad that we waited to try this. I've had a few more shooting classes since this came out, and had I tried this with less experience, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it that much. That being said, it is a great defensive pistol for someone who is going to be dedicated to maintaining proficiency with this, because that trigger is not appropriate for a new shooter, in my opinion. Had this been put in my hand as a new shooter, I probably would have had the same impression of this as some of the guns that I chose not to carry, just because that trigger sneaks up on you. The sights for me, like I said, they give a little bit of a starburst effect because my eyes are straining to figure out what's going on. The front sight is great because it's nice and bright, but the white does kind of mess with your mind eye a little bit. We did not try if it goes 13. We'll do that before Graham does his thing and see if we didn't break it in a little bit better, getting that magazine moving up and down. Overall, it's a great little gun, and if someone is going to choose to get this, I would suggest carrying it with the extended mags, because even in my smaller hands, my much smaller hands, it can jump out of your hand depending on what ammunition you're running through it. So, and test your ammo.
And they did a great job of tucking the heel on that mag, so it's not going to be a sharp point that prints. Like, it's going to conceal nicely.
Yes.
But it still gives you a place for, in Tia's case, your pinky, for me, for the rest of my ring finger. But, oh, and off camera, Tia and I were discussing the trigger, and it's the weight increases, the trigger gets firm very quickly, and then if you're looking for the wall, I think is
by the time you reach for the wall, you know, you get just that little bit of resistance, and you're reaching for the end of that wall, you're already through it. And that's the part that would scare me about this being a concealed carry purchase for, say, your significant other, if they're not dedicated to go train with it.
Yeah, and I would think, because like I'm a trigger prepper. I prep the trigger before each shot, even when I'm shooting fast. This is a gun for the people who don't do that, for people who just pull through.
Yes.
You're not touching it until you're shooting. That is another style that is also completely valid. I don't argue against it. It's just not the way that I have trained and developed my skills over the years. Tia's had kind of a blended upbringing, I'd say. You've had probably as many courses that just pull through as you've had trigger prep courses.
I can see the value in both. When I am shooting on paper for accuracy, trapping my trigger to the rear to gain that next shot works for me, because it doesn't move the gun in my hand too much, as I maybe might have to reach a little bit more for the trigger on some guns. Other guns, it's kind of nice to just sit in a swing and just, you know, you're able to pull without any of that thought being in your head of find the wall, break the wall, and stay on, because that's going to cause me especially to pull every time. So
nice. Off camera, Tia just gave me some shooting coaching, of course after the video was over. But something that she has picked up and noticed, and is definitely what happens to me with small guns, because I'm a push-pull shooter. I apply my pressure to the two directions the gun wants to shift. When I've got a small gun and I'm trying to overcompensate to keep it in my hands, because even with the extended mag, I'm still got a dangling pinky, I think I'm pulling a little too much with my support hand, and that's causing the left bias. Tia spotted that. Thank you, Tia. It's great having her at the range. On to the Mako. In those 5 shots for accuracy, prepping the trigger and working off the reset, which hopefully you guys heard on the microphone, the gun was very easy and predictable. Oddly, it didn't work for me on the spinner, but worked fine for shooting paper here. However, I still think the trigger is probably best for people who pull through and don't prep. Shooting from reset is easy with it. Shooting from start and prepping is not easy for it. So that's something to be aware of if you're shopping for guns, is what your shooting style works, because it may work better with some guns or others. This objectively as a pistol fired everything we wanted it to. Accuracy was acceptable, I'd say, in general. Now Tia and I are both completely cold. We just started by picking up and filming this thing. But that's how you shoot defensively, right? You don't go to the range and then get into a gunfight. The slightly longer barrel on this than other micro compacts, I think maybe part of why it shoots a little nicer. The other part is probably that boobits action, because the barrel's not tilting as much or shifting as much, just like we felt in the BB6. So I'd say my conclusion is that this is underrated as a micro compact. I think it deserves a lot more attention than it's been getting. There was, of course, the marketing blitz 2 years ago when it came out, and it was everywhere, and people were doing fun graphics with it in a sea, because it's a Mako, so it's a shark. But back to the seriousness of firearm, it's a good one.
What I'm noticing from back here as I observe it from a distance is it would be comfortable to carry also, because all of the edges have been nicely rounded out.
Yes.
So especially for appendix carry, I have a shorter area that I am able to put that in, and having something sharp sticking out the bottom of my holster, you know, leads me to not carry as, you know, some guns. But this one would not be as such.
Yeah,
even the front of the sights are rounded nicely.
The hardest edge on it is the rear sight, and that's because people want that tactical edge to be able to rack off of a rock or something. But yeah, it's pretty good. Another note on hand fitment, we noticed that the heel here fits my very large hands very comfortably, but Tia, you had a different encounter.
Initially, it was uncomfortable for me, but it fits my hand similarly. Obviously, I just got a smaller hand, and so the width, I think, is what I'm noticing, but not the angle. That fit nice.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Taurus GX4 in that it looks like it's got a big butt on it, but it actually fits pretty nice. I'm really curious when we go to Iwa to handle the Bubix Pro, which is what I think this pistol really is, and how Kimber has this thing, is Wilhelm Bubitz's son launched a company using Bubitz technology and made a micro compact. It's not in the US market, but it looks just like this gun that magically appeared from a company that makes metal frame 1911s suddenly
and it's more refined, like something that would come from Europe.
Yeah, neat one. Check the pinned comment if you guys are still watching and still interested in this thing. Over in the full article, I'll link to that deal that I found. I can't do it here on YouTube because YouTube would shut me down for selling guns. But if you're curious, for around $500 to get 5 mags, a holster, a range bag, and a gun.
Well, and I saw it this morning for a little bit less than that.
Wow.
I don't know what it comes with, but the price on the general web search was less.
Huh. Thanks for telling me now. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Full magazine plus one.